I would like to talk about, for every individual, how do you know you're getting sick? Because we are all different in terms of our tolerance to health or illnesses, and how do we feel about our body when it is actually not at its best, and how much we can tolerate an illness before we look for help. Now, it really depends on the individual and how you were brought up. If your whole life you have never seen a doctor, and that I've seen a lot of patients like that, especially foreign countries, that person probably don't know they are ill until very late. Time and time again, I've seen patients who come in San Francisco, and they have stage 4 cancer. And stage 4 meaning that's the worst, that everything is spread all over the place. And at that point in time, it's incurable. Treatment is going to be more what we call palliative, meaning say they just help you with, oh, you're in pain, I'll give you something for pain, you're throwing up, I'll give you something for throwing up. So it's very late. And I myself would prefer, if you're my family, you're my friends, is to give you some knowledge about how you recognize something you need to see a doctor before it's too late. And so I would like to emphasize on that today. So depending on age group, of course, once again, if you're 5 and under, you don't know, you most of the time you rely on your family. If you fell down, you hurt your knee, you scraped this and that, you have a bad cold and cough, you're 5 years old, you can already tell your parents, I don't feel good, because the parents will also notice you're not doing well because you're not getting up to play, you're not eating, you're not sleeping well, you have a fever. These are pretty obvious things that majority of parents will know there's a change in their loved ones, especially young ones. Now, so let's say that group is taken care of, because I don't think there are too many kids, unless you're a street person, a teenager running homeless anywhere in the world. Of course, there's a big population of that kind. Even in the United States, there are lots of homeless families. In fact, I just saw a documentary about how homeless are on the increase in Rhodesia or South Africa. And actually now, instead of the blacks being homeless during the days of apartheid, now it's the whites homeless, and because of no more apartheid. So things change over time with history, and the changes you have to, as a person, you have to recognize the change could be environmental, financial, with your age, and with your family history of illnesses, and also your occupation. Like right now is COVID-19. So what happens if you are a medical person? You are more prone to a higher risk of acquiring this disease. So your job becomes an occupational hazard. And if you're a miner, mining coal, for instance, you have to go down deep into a mine, you inhale a lot of dust that can be cancer causing. And your habits, if you're a smoker, if you're a drinker, you are a drug user, you're at higher risk for anything to do with cancer and liver problems and lung cancer. And also drugs will be, of course, overdose. And people who are at high risk of sexual behavior without protection. Of course, this day and age, even though we are less in the number of incidents of HIV, it is still out there for sexual transmitted disease. So these are things that one has to look into because of your profession, your behavior, and also your friends who you hang out with. People hang out with friends who smokes and drink with high incidence of smoking and drinking, because these are your friends. So, most of the time you hang out with them several times a day, if not almost every day. Now, your background upbringing is also important. If you are from, say, to elaborate a little bit on the very different in, say, culture and religion. If somebody who is extreme Catholic, somebody is extreme Buddhism, or whatever culture and religious background you're from, there's that less risk. Or if you have no religion, you have not that anyone who needs to have religions to be the best of health. It's just that there are certain things that you don't do as much. Okay. Anyway, so having know that, then you have to look into your background as far as where you come from, what country, what are you exposed to. Do you go to a doctor when you're sick? I have a bad cough and cold, you go and see a doctor. Or you just, you live with it for 3 weeks and nothing happens, and you end up with a worse problem, like a sinus infection that won't go away, giving you headaches and fever and pain in the face. So only then you say, oops, something's wrong, I better go and see a doctor, because I can't talk, I can't swallow, things are very bad, okay? By then, a fever 104. Now, so depending on your upbringing, you can be very sensitive to changes in your body, or you could be very insensitive, that you wait till the last minute, okay? And of course, there are people who are not privileged, they don't have the money or insurance, they are homeless, they are unemployed, they are at the mercy of the environment. Even if it's a storm, you can only have a tent outdoor. So these are the things that, unfortunately, if you're in a cold part of the country, like northern part of Canada or Minnesota, all these places, winter is a bad time for you, because that's the time when you get sick easily with pneumonia. So I want to give you some tips about how do you know you are getting sick. Always know your norm, all right? If you're a person who's 5'11", 180 pounds, your energy is 7 out of 10, 10 being the best, all day long. And you wake up, you're on the go. You get everything accomplished, and you're doing well. You laugh with your friends, you eat good, you have a healthy diet, you exercise well, your energy is up to par. That's a healthy person. And also your mental capacity is also very important. You don't want to be, down and out, you feel terrible, you feel suicidal, and you lost friends, you lost your pet, you lost all your money in the stock market, and you're feeling rotten, and you have no taste for anything, don't want to talk to anybody. You are secluded in your own room, you don't want to go out. So the difference is a huge contrast between well and not well. So I think that's something that as an individual you should know, especially your friends that say, hey, what's wrong with you? You don't look too good. What's wrong with your mood? You're no longer the jolly person that I talk to on the phone, and on Skype you look terrible. There are things that comes your way from the environment, from your interaction, that tells you something's not right. You look pale. How come you lost 20 pounds? Or even you added 20 pounds. So, so these are all functions of your body that is telling you something is not right.